Christmas, separate from celebrating birthdays and eating swine's flesh and pedophilia and homosexuality, separating from the customs of the heathen. That's all throughout this Bible. And if you want to debate that, please bring it up. Is that it?
Blossom.
Read on.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are
above who?
Above all people.
Below.
Above all people.
He chose us to be below.
Above all people.
The Most High chose the nation of Israel to be above who?
All people.
Some people.
All people.
All people.
That's right.
That's it? Let's go.
That are upon the face of the earth.
Not in Chicago. Read it.
Upon the face of the earth.
Not in Africa.
Upon the face of the earth.
But upon the whole face of the earth. You understand? That's what the Lord has set up initially for us to reign supreme. Right? And this was based on what, though? This was based on us having a system that the Lord approved of, that he tailor-made for his children.
Right.
He tailor-made us to grow our beards, rock our beards, for the men to be the head of the household. He tailor-made it for our women to dress modestly. You know what I mean? He tailor-made it for us to not have cuttings and markings in our flesh. He tailor-made it for us not to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, catfish. You know what I mean? He tailor-made it to the way in which things would have order. And that was his intent. And through our righteousness, the other heathen nations, the other nations would look at us as the example, as the shining star. You know what I mean? And through that, we would have a superpower amongst superpowers. The Most High will have our back in all things. No one can come against the nation of Israel as the Most High be behind us and be successful or victorious.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And that's all he wanted us to do. That's all we had to do. All right, drop that. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. Baba Kasha.
Come.
Again, as you look through the annals of history, most military generals or warlords or any thing with strategy, there is a system in which you study and that you apply to thwart and dismantle your enemy. You know what I mean? And these are things that have been tried and tested with athletics. I like to refer to athletics, but I like to refer to certain dynasties. You know, usually they have a strong front office. They usually acquire a great militaristic mind coach, and the coach then goes out and gets key components to his staff. You know, defensive specialists, offensive genius, you know what I mean? Motivational speakers, you know what I mean? A dietitian, you know what I mean? There's a whole other thing outside of the thing we see on that television, on that field, on that court, in that boxing ring. There's things that actually have a lot to do with the success of that athlete. You know what I mean? It's a system, a set of rules. Now you take that athlete or you take that team and they buy into it, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be very successful. They'll win a championship. They'll win 3. They'll have a dynasty. You know what I mean? You can have that system and have the wrong players. They don't buy into it. You know, they're disgruntled or they had cancer in the locker room. It's all about them. These are the things that plague the nation of Israel. You know what I mean? Where we wanted to buck at the Lord. We want to look, we should praise Buddha or Krishna or look at Zazen, look at the way they do their feng shui. You know what I mean? Oh, look, they eat with sticks, toothpicks, you know, dental floss, General Toto's chicken. Oh, it's pretty good. The other white meat, yeah. We got infatuated, and this is indicative of Eve, evil, Salakia. Eve was seduced, approached by a man in another state, in the field, in the garden of Eden, right? And she had instruction by her husband, by the Most High, through her husband, of what to do. But yet, she was infatuated. You know what I mean? She allowed herself to lend an ear to someone other than her head.
That's right.
When you teach your children, right, you let them know first not to just go with the right information. That's not enough. You also have to know where this information comes from. You understand? If this information comes from a wicked man, which can also give you right information, then he can mislead you. Right. He can have an intent to seduce you and get you to stray away from your husband or from your father. You know what I mean? And so, again, the nation of Israel, we fall in love with other nations. We fall in love with being disobedient to the Most High. And therefore, we are destroyed. Is that it? Oh, you about to read 1 Corinthians. All right, let's go.
Come. The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
The water.
And the head of the woman is the man. And the head of Christ is God.
Stop right there. Who can tell me what the head is? What is a head according to the scripture right here? Everybody raising their hand at once. Most High in Christ. 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah. It's okay. Take your time. We got all night. Take your time. Authority.
Is it on?
Is that on? We didn't hear that, right? Did we hear that?
Hello?
she said translation. That was shalom for everyone else listening out there.
Mic check.
Do I have to hold it? Okay, so it's where, oh, shalom. Yeah. So the head is the person with the most authority.
The head is an authority figure. Baba Kashak,
Yes.
give her a hand. Clap it up. Good job, sis. The head is an authority figure. And if you don't mind, if anybody could get me Exodus 15:3. The head is an authority figure. It is a position of high responsibility. You're responsible for those that depend upon you. You know, you become the provider of information, the protector of the subjects, and also the disciplinarian when need be, or the person who corrects, the corrector. You understand? It's a testament of love. It's an act of love, not the Christian sense of romance, but it's a work. To be a head, you get, it's kind of like the head coach. When the team win, it's the players doing. When the team lose, it's the coach's fault. And any good leader will always, I think that's the boys. Yeah, it's the boys. Yeah, go ahead. I think any, Salaki for that. I think any good leader would always take the blame and put the blame of any failure of his subjects or whatever he's responsible for on him. Right. Whether he directly had something to do with it or not, he would assume that responsibility because it is his responsibility. Right. The head of anything has to put things in place to where the system can work. Again, we're still talking about a system. We're talking about the law here, right? And these laws are supposed to be applicable for us to thrive. It's a machine, and it has a purpose. And our purpose is when we get down and do what we're supposed to do, then the other nations will stop eating cat, rat, dog, worshiping Buddha, having deadlocks in their hair, and doing what they're doing. We would right the ship, turn this thing right side up. That is the whole purpose. And in that is our worship of the Most High. It's not how the Christians do it out in the street. I praise the Lord every day. I love God. I got a cross on my neck, but I just shot up 13 people. Oh, I'm selling fentanyl. I'm selling heroin. I love God, though. Oh, my God. Every Christian I know does the opposite of what's in this book. That's right. None of them will be here for the Feast of Purim. None of them will be at the Passover. That's right. None of the men rock beards if that can grow them. You know what I mean? They don't keep the law. You know what I mean? They have some programming by a man, a serpent, that teaches them that, you don't have to keep the law. The law's done away with. You know? You can eat this bacon, this pepperoni, these sausages. It's another white meat. Nothing's going to happen. The same parallel to the Garden of Eden, right? And so because of that, we really abide by the God of our lusts. We really want a religion that caters to what our innate desires are, So you leave the 13th St. Baptist Church and go to the Episcopalian Church. You leave that because they don't allow you to do this. So you go to the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Then you say you don't want to wear dresses on Sunday. So you go to the, Jehovah's Witness Church. And you go until you leave that church, and then you go to the Catholic Church. And then you leave the Catholic Church, and then you go to the New Age Rainbow Coalition Black Lives Matter Church. Because you like the choir director, you like their music. They don't double tie you; they just give you one tie. For the most part, it's all BS, and you have to be honest with yourself. That's the true reason why you don't love the Isupk. That's right. The one thing that I ever came into in my life, out of all the things I've ventured upon, this was the only thing that gave the most, got me the most criticism and kickback and ridicule and just disgust. I've been bribed not to be in the Isupk, literally firsthand. Never happened when I was learning about Rastafarianism. Never happened when I was admiring the FOI, the Nation of Islam, and looking for some strong black sense of militancy and pride. Never happened when I was in our Set Society trying to understand spirituality and the tree of life and all the chakras and understand how to eat healthy and be a vegan and all that. Nobody cared about none of that. Nobody had nothing to say. You come into the Isupk, though, and you start opening up this Bible. These fake Christians, I'm going to call you fake Christians. Let me tell you why. You get offended because we're in your backyard, because we're now venturing into the very thing that you claim to live by, that you've never lived by. You never read these scriptures. You've never been taught the scriptures. You understand? And you so comforted in your way of living, in the way that you have evolved as this humanitarian American, loving everyone, and the Lord knows my heart, and do whatever you want to do, just don't stop someone else from doing what they want to do. Same way they had it in Sodom and Gomorrah and the islands surrounding it. Right. This Babylonian mindset of unifying all people on the planet. Hey, guess what? Sounds good. I understand. It sounds good. But what does the Father say? He's totally against it. And you can wiggle and squirm and try to denounce what we're saying, but you got to use the scriptures to do it, and you can't do it. Right. which is why we despise the Christian church. God damn the Christian church. You understand? Because you are highly responsible for all of the crime that goes on in these communities. Every person that's in prison is a Christian. If they are Muslim, they are Christian. You understand? If you an atheist, you a Christian. If you not in here in the Isupk, you a goddamn Christian. You understand? Now, tell me this. We up here on this camera every day, right? Commander General Yohana set this system up. We're exposed every day. If anyone had the truth, you have every opportunity to shut this down. You understand? But you don't. Reverend Pigfoot don't get up here and call in. He's comfortable. He's content with keeping the masses of our people, my people, dead. The valley of the dry bones. That's what he want to keep us, right? He's benefiting like the Sadducees and the Pharisees, preying off the masses of the people. Yet, you don't care. You at home. You got your $20 an hour job. You got your apartment, your husband, your children, 2.3 children. You content. You don't want nobody to rock your boat. Been going to church for 30 damn years. And you think you got this thing figured out. You see these niggas out here talking, dressing like fucking Power Rangers, and we are the Power Rangers because the Most High is the power. You understand? If you really had a way to rock what we was doing and knock what we was doing, it would have been done already because we've been doing it since 1969. And we have not failed. We have not been rocked. We are undefeated. And we are undefeatable as long as we keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. And that is the truth. And we will boast. We will brag about it. We will be triumphant about it. Triumphalism, isn't that what they call it? Where were we at? Let's get that.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 15, and verse 3. For the Most High is a man of war.
Stop right there. That's it. If you even know anything about psychology, the Most High is a man of war. What is war? That means there is a protagonist and an antagonist. That means there's you and an enemy, a clear defined enemy. For some of us, the first enemy is within ourselves. The construct of the mind is where the demons come in, right? Them demons come in. They can't touch us physically. So they come into our mind and try to alter our state of thinking, which preeminates our being, makes us what we are. You know what I mean? You ever look at a homosexual, they have a certain look about them. You ever see a boxer, they have a certain look about them. It's a spiritual thing that happens over time. Someone just got out, did 10 years, they have a look about them. You know what I mean? Pedophiles, they have a look about them. You know what I mean? It's a certain thing that just happens over time spiritually that permeates your physical existence, how your appearance, how you appear to the people. Well, the Lord is a man of war. The Most High is a man of war, which means he's a supreme strategist, which means we are at war, meaning he has an army, a military, and he commands of us to fight. And the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. You understand? So how do we translate this for you, break this down so you understand what this is really all about? The Lord knew that the things that happen in the annals of history were going to happen. And he set us up. He set us up right. 1969, this truth came out. The secrets and mysteries of this Bible right here were revealed to the seven heads, you know what I mean? Under Abba Bivens, right? This information was broken down and extracted amongst the brethren, right? And we took this information and we built this organization, this one body of Christ. And from here, we went out and we taught other men to do so. You understand? And that is the domino effect of how we regain the kingdom. Now, what are we taught in the Isupk? The Lord is a man of war, right? So he gives us tools. He gives us tools to do what? He know we have an enemy. Who we gonna fight? We're going to fight lust, drug addiction, right? Hatred for one another, right? These demons are an everyday thing, right? Which is why in the ISUBK we have a system, counseling system, where a brother get a little weak, a brother having some issues, he may not understand how to handle this. He may have something pulling him back into the world. Brother could have been a homosexual, a drag queen, a drug dealer, a drug addict. He could have been a pedophile, anything. He could have been any sinner, right, in the world. But Commanding General Yohana has it set up where you can come in and request counsel. You can raise your hand. You can call up any general, any captain that's ordained to give counsel in the school and get help. You can't have this pride, and that's the covering in which a demon hides. You don't need no help. I ain't no goddamn alcoholic. Nah, I don't need no help. I was just looking. I ain't still gay. I like women. No. If you have an issue, you have to bust up that pride, humble yourself, and confess. And confession is good for the soul. And that's where you walk into the light and you actually say, you know what, I'm a sinner, I have a problem, I'm still smoking. Because we know you're smoking. When we give you the salute and we dapping you up, we know come on, when you don't smoke, it's like, it's automatic. We know. Someone don't smoke, you could tell somebody smoking. Now the thing is, you are brother, you are sister, we love you. We don't mind that you battling these demons. We all are. Any man in here don't say they not battling, then they ain't in here. They ain't living. They ain't breathing. Because this is a warfare, you know what I mean? But the onus is on you to seek help. You understand? And no general or person ordained in this school to give counsel will mistreat you, use your information to spread publicly. That will never happen in here. That is unbrotherly. Whatever your issues are, we will take pride in the fact that you are trying, that you admit it, that you acknowledge it. Let me get, are we done with what we was at? All right, let me get John 3:21, Baba Kashah. You can get help. You literally can get help. We're not saying, hey, we don't have no issues. We're in the truth. My name is Officer Ariyah, and I've never had any problem. That's not what it is. When you come in the truth, that's when the real battle begins. And now we're given the tools, and we're given that flashlight to put on these demons and say, that's Asmodeus. You know what I mean? That's greed. That's covetousness. You know what I mean? We identify the demon. We go to counsel. We identify the demon. And then we get a prescription. We get a prescription of scriptures that we apply in our prayer, right? We take it into our prayer, our meditation, and we correct our behavior over time. And it's a time period. And then you check in. Every Wednesday you check in. And the brothers, hey, Lucky, so I'm just checking in. Hey, how you doing? How's everything going? Everything all right with your family? Con, I don't want to con. Well, Salaki, so I do have an issue. Oh, well, what's going on? And that's a brother to a brother. It don't matter what their age is. You could be a 75-year-old man confiding in a 30-year-old brother. But that will be taken on with care. That's the whole point. That's what you people on the outside, still on the fence, you don't know about this school. You think you just see the masculinity, you see the bravado, you see the tightness, the fierceness, the scriptures, the classes, but it's so much more. This is about changing lives up in here every day. That's why it says universal practical knowledge. You know what I mean? We're supposed to practice this knowledge. It's applicable today. What you learn here today, you go home and practice tonight. And if you stumble or fail or fall, then you write it down. You write your questions down, and you come back with questions. You call your counselor. You get counsel. Again, but when you finish your counsel, you should have scriptures. You should ask for the remedy, the prescription. And you will be given a set of scriptures that you must wholeheartedly go over in your private time, in your closet, in your meditation. You recite these scriptures that were given that were specific for your demon, for your issue. You go over and over, and eventually now your demon is exposed, and you find out he's really weak. Your demons are very little, small, minuscule, inanimate beings that just have the power of persuasion over you. They tap in, they find out what you really want, and they try to give it to you. That's all. I want to leave my husband. He doesn't treat me right. You know what? You should leave him. You know, if you go to the Catholic Church and repent, you'll be free from whatever the Isupk says. I should listen to that. This is your conscience speaking. Again, in the Isupk, we give you the solution. And the solution is keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. And under these statutes in the school and the law, we go to counsel. And if you're not going to counsel, you're not serious about getting better. You're not serious about warfare. They said the Lord is a man of war, which means he wants us to be victorious. He's about fighting and battling our demon, right? And to battle your demon, you got to know what you need. You go into a gunfight with a slingshot, you might not make it, you know what I mean? You might not make it. You got to know what it is that you're battling. If it's depression, if it's paranoid schizophrenia, right? If it's bipolar or tripolar disorder, personality disorders, these are demons that can be remedied, along with proper medication. You understand? These are the things that we do in this school that help fortify our relationships with each other. We have a system in place in which we have an art with one another that we will actually, instead of go gossip like a BI, right? We actually go to, yo, Salakia, yo, when you was passing out the ginger ale, you overlooked me, Well, guess what? Brother could be like, yeah, I did overlook you because so-and-so told me that you didn't want ginger ale. Oh, Salakia, nah, I didn't know it. Now you cleared up a misunderstanding. Or that brother could say, Salakia, my bad, I thought I gave you one earlier. Salakia. Either way, you've gained a brother. You've worked it out. You brought it to the forefront. And in here, we're not allowed to be cowards. You know what I mean? We're not allowed to cater to someone's feelings or afraid to hurt someone's feelings. Let's bring it out. And anybody got a problem with that, we'll bring that out too. So with all of that said, we have relationships, right? We have husbands and wives that, you know, sometimes I know the wives may feel like they're not important or they don't have a say in the school. This is your school. Let me clear this up right now. Nobody in this UPK will condone any abuse to anyone in this school. That's number one. And the fact that some of us feel like, oh, I want to tell, but they're not going to do anything, that's a demon. And you're going to hear it over and over. All they say is it's a demon, it's a demon, because it's a goddamn demon. That's why we say it's a demon. It's not of the Lord. And your job is to hold each other accountable. We are the snitches in here. We're supposed to snitch in here. If you see Officer Iraq doing something that is unlawful, snitch. That may save my life. But if you don't, if you allow me to continue to smoke weed on the low at the corner store down the street and you see me and you say, nah, I don't want to offend my brother, you offended me. Help me. Help me where I can't help myself. Don't allow me to spread my disease amongst others. You know what I mean? We are commanded to love one another. And love is not romance. Love is not, oh, I'm going to do what you want, coddling. That's not love. There's a time and place for those things. But that's not the whole. That's not the core of love. Love is correction. Because without the law, we become savage. We become animalistic. With love and correction, we can now grow, properly, just like a tree or a vine or a plant, something that we want to cultivate. We have crops and fields, which the Most High wanted us to do with the vegetation of the planet. He wanted things in order. He had a system in place where if fruit or crops fall on the outskirts, we leave that on the ground for the poor. You know, these are things here well thought out. The Most High is bad, man. He's deep. And all we have to do is obey. We don't have to understand his thoughts. His thoughts are not our thoughts. You understand? All we have to do is obey. And if you actually take hold of this truth, all the sisters, let me say this. This is your school. Don't feel like you a second-class citizen in the school. That fear that the generals put on you to not call, they testing you. Because the fact that you didn't call, you're not worthy. That's the problem. Call. And if you get shut down, you get shut down and abide by that counsel. But do not sit. What I can't stand and what we will not tolerate is gossip about an issue that you did not go to counsel about. Go to the man that you're supposed to go to, your husband. If he will not hear you, go to the man above your husband and help your husband. It's not love for your husband to allow foolishness to continue to go on. How can we fix it if we don't know? If we're not aware? And your husband is my brother. My brother don't want to be no low-level wicked individual. You understand? And even though he may be wrong that night, or you may think he's wrong, you may find out he's right, or you may find out he's wrong, but either way, you show that you are one West to the death. You are no coward. You ain't afraid to step up and say, you know what, Officer Isupk, you did this, that, and the third. I respect that. My man Yanazar, he came to me, well, I think he was a trooper, and he told me something because I was supposed to meet him. And I was supposed to open up the school one day. And somehow he drove all the way from where he was living out, and I did not communicate with him. He had no problem as a man to say, Salak, hey, brother, I came all the way out here. You wasn't there. I appreciated that. You know what I mean? A lesser man would have been like, that's Officer Isupk. He 1,000. I ain't going to say nothing. He might, mess me up down the road. Nah, I have nothing but respect for that brother, for that. And any real man and any real sister will respect someone to step up and just say what it is instead of letting these demons fester. Now we talking about the demons because that's what's here on earth. That's what we battling right now. That's why he said the Lord is a man of war, right? And we are Yasharallah, right? We are the prince of the power. We are just like our daddy. We warriors, you understand? And we here to battle these demons here. Let me get, I'm going on and on. Let me get Deuteronomy. Wait. Salaki, where we at? 1 Corinthians 11:3? Did we finish? Where were we at?
You asked for John 3 and 21.
I want it all. Let's get it, John 3 and 21.
This is the book of John, chapter 3, verse 21. But he that doeth truth cometh to the light, that his deeds be made manifest, that they are wrought in the Most High.
Start at the top again. Let me hear that again.
This is the book of John, chapter 3, verse 21. But he that doeth truth cometh to the light.
Whoa, right there, hold that. He that doeth truth cometh to the light. What does that mean? Anybody, what does that mean? He that doeth truth cometh to the light. Young man in the back.
I'm not 100% sure, but the people that do the right things will be the most rewarded.
Give that brother a hand. We'll take that for trying. You have courage. We'll take that. Hey, he got the first part right. He that does righteousness, right? When you come into the truth, how do you come into the truth? Anybody can tell me, how do you come into the truth? What is the truth and how do you come into the truth? Officer Yanazar.
The fear of the Most High. because the fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom. So you come into the truth, and then you learn, and you do the law, statutes, and commandments.
Most High in Christ. Let me get a little more. Let's get deep with it though, because there's a lot of fugazi so-called Israelites that think they doing the same thing though, right? And there's some people they call individual lights who at home and so-called worshiping or keeping the Sabbath and so-called keeping the law at home, and that's it. So are they in the truth? Are the fake Israelites in the truth? Well, they can claim the same thing we just said. So what's coming in the truth? How do we come in the truth? Let's get it, Warrior.
First by, coming to these classes, ISUPK.
Say it again.
Coming to the ISUPK.
Say it again.
Coming into the ISUPK.
Say it one more time.
Coming into the ISUPK.
Coming into the ISUPK. Go ahead. Let me mean to cut you off, Warrior. Let's go.
Nah, it's like, keep law, statutes, commandments, getting all black. You understand me? Have love for your brother, you know what I mean? But you got to be in here first.
How do you get out of the truth? How do you leave the truth? How do you leave the truth? Young man in the back. Everything is practical. Everything is simple. Very simple. Let's get it. What we do?
You disobey the law.
Okay, which means what though? I want it deeper. When you disobey the law, what are we doing physically? How do you come into the truth again? What was the way that you came into? When did you first come into the truth? Not a year, date. Physically, what did you do to come into the truth?
I shed myself of the world first, and then I started coming to class.
Let's keep that. That second answer was the first answer. Coming into this class, right? Coming into this class. Now, how do you leave the truth?
Salaki, do you just stop coming to class, leave the ISUPK?
Give her a hand. Yanazar was about to get you. I was like, hoping you would get it. Yeah. Yeah, you stop coming to class, right? You stop coming to class. You stop checking in, right? You stop coming to the high holy days. You are no longer under the authority of Commanding General Yohana and the ISUPK. That's when you have left the truth. Now, while you in the truth, you in the truth, right? If you're in bad standing and you struggling with some demons and some issues, you still in the truth, because it's about the fight. It's about warring. You understand? We're striving for perfection through Christ. You understand? That's what we're doing. And the system is in place where we have men above us, which is the order that we're getting into, that are ordained by the Most High, that are here to hear our gripes, hear our issues, right? And through the wisdom of these scriptures, they are to prescribe a remedy for us. Now, it doesn't stop there. One of the worst things you can do to the generals by having a 45-minute council or a 2-hour council is to disobey the council. If you take up Salakia, if you take up General Mahaiman's time from training or just enjoying his day, and he's feeding you truth and telling you, hey, this is what you should do, or this is what you should do, sis. 3 weeks later, you've done nothing. You've that's almost, it's not a sin, but it's close in the eyes of the ISUPK. You understand? Ultimately, we have these councils to open us up to the truth, so the generals and the Akim can see who we are, and we basically, we good. Everything's swap. Okay, Shalaki. Basically, we go to council, we confess, right? In that confession, we are now brought into the light. It said the truth coming to the light, right? So when we in the truth, now the light is on us, right? That light that's on us means we're exposed, right? When they see you rocking your beard, when they see you at the Thanksgiving table and you refuse the ham with the pig with the apple in his mouth, when you refuse to smoke weed with your uncles in the back, you're exposed. You're showing the world. That light is on you. You can't front. You can't fake it. A brother that's in the truth sticks out like a sore thumb. At least you should. All right? A sister that's in the truth sticks out like a sore thumb. All of a sudden, all your so-called worldly friends, they slowly wither away. They slowly wither away. And because basically, if you're in the truth, you should have more influence over the people around you than them on you. You understand? Than the other way around. You shouldn't be. So if you remember when you first came to the truth and you told your family or your close acquaintances or friends, you know, it's like, what is that? Oh, you don't do this anymore. First thing they do, that wicked spirit that usually happens is they tempt you. Right. They try to pull you back into the world. They want to see if you really real. They smoking around, they rolling up right in front of you. They're like, oh, yeah, you remember this, don't you? Hey, you sure? Howard ain't looking. Howard ain't looking. Ain't no commanding general here. Ain't no captains looking. Quiet as kept. The angels are always looking. The Most High always sees what we do. You know what I mean? So that light. Can you read that one more time, Baba Kashai?
This is the book of John, chapter 3, verse 21. But he that doeth truth cometh to the light.
He that doeth the truth coming to the light. So now we in the light, right? You a sister now. You're not dressing like a thought, a hoochie mama, or wop bearer, or whatever is out now. You don't have the long claw fingernails and doing all of this and disrespecting yourself. Salakia. You're not overbearing to your husband and trying to embarrass him in Walmart, sticking your finger in his ear. You better come over here and follow me, get these drapes, mother. You mindful. Salakia, sister got me tripping over here. Salakia. But you are a new person. You've been born again. Or when that light, when you have that light, you shine the brightest. You know what I mean? People going to look at you and say, why are you dressed like that? Or why are you so austere? Or why are you so, it seems like you're serious about what you do, about what you put in your body. You understand? You always go into that building over there and all these people coming out dressed like they from another country or something. That's how we supposed to draw attention. And that first thing that they notice is not the F with us. You understand? Any man in the ISUPK is ineffable. What is that word? Katazasa ineffable. I think that's what it was. Salakia. Any brother, I don't care how old you are, when people see you, you should have the strength of 80 midgets. That's how it should feel like. You should be austere. You understand? You should have a certain vibe about you where it's like, okay, cat's in the corner be like, I think I can beat him, but then something about this cat, man. I don't want to mess with that brother. And that's that spirit. That's the Holy Spirit. That's the spirit of the Most High. You understand? And when you know, you know. You know what I mean? And when you a sister, it's the same thing. Because you should, if you don't have a husband, you should have a man that a drop of a dime would clear this place out for you. You understand? And it should be that way. And again, this is a work in progress. You understand? I know these are the beginning, the construct, you know, Command General Yohanan and the 7 heads, they put down the foundation and we're still building, putting in our brick. The desired effect is still there. And we're going to have some issues here and there, but it's our job to see to it that these things get corrected. And it can't get corrected unless we go to council, we bring it out. Let's have true, proper adult dialogue about our issues. if you're not spending enough time with one another as a couple, or if you feel that you've been an officer of 500 for 3 years and other troopers are coming up, they now are officers of 1,000, go to your camp leader or go to your captain and say, Salakia, sir. You know, I've been here for 2-3 years and I'm still an officer of 50. Am I doing something that is unbecoming of a rank raise, sir? And that captain, if he's a just man, will hear you. And he will say, Salakia, sir, you don't come to class. You're not at camp. I gave you this to do. You provided nothing. And basically, this is giving you an opportunity to know what it is that you need to work on. You know, I've coached, I was a part of many successful sporting teams. I've coached for numerous years, football, track, basketball, and highly successful, won numerous championships. One thing I never did was I never allowed a player to make my team and did not use them. I would never have bench warmers on my team in basketball. If I picked you, I need you. You understand? And if instead of you riding my bench, if you're not good enough, then you should not be on this team. You should be training to get better for the next tryout so you can perform a little better. But sitting on the bench, it has its benefits, but in most cases, you probably need to hone your skill. Now, one thing I did as a coach was I would always give an assessment to the people under me, to my athletes. So players that's not getting the time they think they need to get, I'm not just going on and go home after the game, hey, yeah, good game. No, I say, hey, yo, listen, Ty, I need this from you. I need you to box out. You're not getting the rebounds I need. That's why I'm playing Chris, because he's boxing out. If you would box out more, and I don't care about your points. Look at if you dive on the floor, get loose balls, if you would talk on defense and bark, then you would play more. Now, this brother has something to work on. He now has hope. But see, if you go to counsel and you don't get the remedy, if you don't go to counsel, you don't have hope. You living in the truth with someone and you don't have hope that anything will ever change. You don't see that there's no hope for anything to get better. Salakia, 1 second. I think I have a glitch in the matrix. It's all good, no sweat. So outside of that, this is why it's important to go to counsel, get proper counsel about your issues, be honest about your issues, no matter how devious, how embarrassing or the shame. Humble yourself. Let it go. We all have issues and have had issues and will continue to have issues. There's no difference between anyone that's in here and the people out there other than we acknowledge that we have demons and we have the system in place to fight them. That's it. That's the secret. You can take them back there, the water. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. So where were we at with that again?
John 3:21.
John 3:21. Right about that. Okay. And now let's get into, we were at 1 Corinthians 11:3. Can we get back to that, Baba Kasha? Again, how this thing works, like a well-oiled machine, is the system, keeping the law, following the laws, statutes, and commandments, understanding the order, the rank. You know what I mean? Let's get it.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, and verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Yahushua, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Yahushua is the Most High.
Again, the head is the authority figure. So you see that the head of the man is Yahushua, and the head of Yahushua is the Most High, and the head of every woman is her man. And if we understood that, and some people have a hard time following that because America is not set up that way. It's contrary. It teaches in opposition to what the Bible set forth for us to do. With that, that is the order. If a wife really wants to see how a good wife conducts herself, look at any trooper or officer of 50 or officer of 500, how they conduct themselves to a man above them. And there may be an order given or a request given that the man who's a 50 may not want to do. He may not want to travel to Greenville, Goldsboro, or 2 hours away, or go pick up someone. He may not want to, but he does it. It's a job. It's a task. He does it. A good officer does it willingly, right? And also a good officer who's over or a head or authority figure will also be mindful, because he knows that officer will pretty much do anything for him. He's mindful about what he asks him to do. Make sure that you're always brotherly, remembering the times when you were in that seat, when you were in that position. And as a sister, and I like to speak on relationships because it is the cornerstone, well, one of the cornerstones of the nation, of a society, of how we will thrive, because we have interaction, we have relationships, we have children, and we're reincarnated. We come back, and that's how it flows. And there is a order. There is a certain respect that is given to the head, because he takes the heat when all else fails. Does that mean that the officer of 50 or the trooper does not have is not worthy of respect or opportunity to speak or gripe? No, it does not mean that they can't speak, but there's a way you speak. And that's what I'm saying. If you would look at how brothers interact with each other, it's always in humbleness and meekness and all due respect. Always. Sometimes when we're so close to each other, we get funky with it. You know, if you leave you make a mess in the room, the sister say, "Yo, stinking ass, you did this," and it's like, ho, who you come? If Captain Nythok did something wrong, let's say he used this building, Salakia about that television. Let's say if Captain Nythok or one of the generals utilized our school, had a party, and left the place in disarray, left it in a mess. Do you really think that I would, hey, General, what the hell you doing? I would never. It's all about the approach, which sisters have to understand, how you approach your husband with a gripe. It's not that we are so barbaric, that we're so insensitive and we don't care about your feelings. It's how you approach us, and also not respecting the boundary we may lay. We may not be ready to process that at the time. You know, people say that men have a nothing box, a time when we don't want no information coming into our mind, because that's the time we reset. Sometimes we need nothing. We need to just sit and just regroup, because we use so many other faculties that people don't understand. How you doing? I'm too but really you got all kind of issues. We're trained to just ignore. So when we come home, sometimes we're trying to just have some downtime. And so you may want, hey, babe, I want to talk about why you... So the first thing that always works, the magic word, and especially in my circle, Salakia. When I hear Salakia King, it changed everything. Because I know, now I'm like, okay, what's up? I'll listen. Because you know who you're talking to. You understand? You know who you're talking to. And when you show that, when you honor me like that, it comes back almost automatic. Like you can't even control it. It's like somebody smile at you, you smile back like, hey, how are you? You're like, hi, I was like this at first, but you come, you using a form of manipulation, which is something that women need to learn. There is a feminine manipulation that is necessary. that we require. As I tell sisters sometimes, you have to learn how to manipulate your husband in a righteous way. You know what I mean? Smelling good, looking good, being soft, learning that your true strength is your femininity. You understand? Showing that, not trying to be overbearing and strong. Nobody want a strong black woman. It might as well be with a dude. Tyrone in the pen. Nobody need that. You know what I mean? Superman never saved Wonder Woman. He saved Lois Lane. And so sometimes women got to know how to not be able to kill a spider. You know what I mean? And call her husband 2 hours away. There's a spider in the bath. Yeah, that's an art. She could have killed it. But it makes that man's testosterone pump. It pumps up when he sees that he's needed. Now, you may have had a master's degree in psychology. A sister could have all kind of degree, and there's nothing wrong with a sister having important jobs and teaching in schools and having businesses of her own. No one in the ISUPK says that a sister cannot have an authoritative position in the world. Okay, that's a falsehood that's being said out there in the world. But a wise sister knows how to turn that crap off when she comes home and learn how to be a lady and put on soft things, right? Nice, sweet things. And it bothers a man to mistreat. Look, nobody wants, like, if you the big bad mama down the block who beat up everybody and somebody said, oh, you heard what happened to the big girl Sashay? She got beat up. Oh, okay, what'd she do? But if cute little Kawana, who wouldn't touch nobody, somebody do something to her, it's, oh, nah, who did that? Right. Because she never shows that she could take care of herself. She has that weakness in her. Now, again, I understand the plight of our women and our people as a whole, because the same dog that bit me bit you too. You understand? So we understand that women in the world had to be strong, had to hold things down on their own because they were with worldly men and they were in the world, period. So I understand that, but this is what we're trying to grow into. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying about that. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 15, Baba Kashab. Feast of Purim is coming up. We got that tomorrow. I think we'll be opening the doors around 6 p.m. And we're going to have a blast tomorrow. Everybody's welcome out there who's listening. Make sure you come out here and help us celebrate this wonderful feast. You ready?
Sir. Right. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 15. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men, and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over 10s, and officers among your tribes.
Oh, hell no. Where is that at in the Christian church?
Right.
Have y'all heard that before? Captains, where is that at? Huh? Officers, 50s, thousands, hundreds. Where did that come from? You can't tell me that the ISUPK is not the home of the truth. Right. There is no place on the face of the earth that is following these guidelines. Right. You understand? Right. This is what I'm saying about you Christians. You so hypocritical and so quick to say, oh, that's a cult. They crazy. Why you say, I believe in some of what they say. Nah, it's all what we say. You show me the part that you don't agree with. Show me. Bring it up in the Bible that there was something that we're doing that is not written, as we have stated in Romans 15 and 4, as it was written. Show me. You won't do it. Your Christian leaders are cowards. We right here. We everywhere. And if you had an opportunity, like I said, I have an uncle, big time preacher, right? Bobby Jones Gospel out in Atlanta or South Carolina, somewhere like that. He was on BET and everything. I remember I was a little boy visiting the church, and he would put his hands on the people. People would come up, put his hands on the people, and people would fall out. And so his wife, my aunt, was coming. It's like, who wants to be healed? Who wants to be? I'm looking dead at my aunt. I'm raising my hand like, me. I want to get knocked out. I want to know what it feels like. She knew not to call me. I was like, why she ain't call me? I wanted to go. I wanted to know what it felt like to get knocked out. I'm like, man, you should be a boxer or a martial artist if you could knock people out like that. Yo, let me tell you something, man. I came into the truth, and my whole family's in an uproar. You would think they would be upset about me being in a set, which is pretty much witchcraft. We was doing rituals. We was doing worshiping Sebek and Osset and Het Heru, and also in the Yoruba tradition, Shango and Obatala, Yemeya, all these deities, right, which I find out as I come into the truth, I was doing witchcraft. But they ain't had no problem with that. They ain't have no problem with me committing sin to the Most High, but they all claim the Bible. So my uncle, he hears, some of the videos or whatever, and he's like, well, we are the children of Israel, but we can't teach that because people won't come to the church. And I'm like, wow, my uncle's wicked as hell. That was it. And this was I was probably 1 month coming into class. So I didn't really have a thorough knowledge of the scriptures to really battle him. You know what I mean? But I knew enough. When I came into the truth, I saw the Aki. I saw Officer Dawada, Officer Lahab, Officer Abraham, and brothers before me. Man, they was tight. They was trooping together, warring down in Georgia and D.C. Those brothers made me want to be like them. They did not beg me to come. They weren't out trying to, what do they call it, outreach. They did what they did, and I saw him yo, Dawada's looked like he was about 5'2", but he looked like he could take me. It was that strength. Lahab looked like he could take me. It was the way they were standing and that fierceness that they had. I was like, yo, these brothers on to something. Officer Yahweh, them brothers, they weren't in the world. They may not look intimidating, but in the truth, them brothers was 7 feet tall, 300 pounds. Them brothers, I was like, yo, this is it right here. And so I brought every question I had. I was like Brother Polite. You know what I mean? I knew about the esoteric realm of the alchemical stars of the cosmos and how all the so-called big words saying a lot of nothing very well. That's what I was into. I was actually pulling for Polite during the debate with Captain Tazariak, Officer Tazariak at the time. I was sided with Polite because I was like, yeah, I learned some of the same stuff. But he was dismantled easily. And so my uncle, he had nothing. My issue with the preachers, the ministers, the so-called people of the Bible who have something to say about the ISUPK. The people who have something to say about what we do. Where were you before I was in the truth? You didn't offer me nothing. You weren't teaching me nothing. You're not on, now catching on trying to do little YouTube videos, but it's still garbage. You not out on the corner teaching, but we are. Because we have something to say and we stand by it, we back it up. But you do nothing, but you want to criticize. Why? Again, because we in your backyard. We right here. The thing that you claim, you ain't about it. And you're afraid to be exposed as a hypocrite and a liar, which you are. Now, we see here that the Lord is a man of war, that the Lord is about order, that he's about a ranking system. He says the head in the household, the head is the man, right? The head of the man is Yahushua, and the head of Yahushua is the Most High, and the head over the woman and the children is the man. He runs that household. He also shows in the organization of the school, we have a ranking system in which keep things in order. And we also have a system in place that help with any type of PTSD that comes from being in this war, which is counsel. You understand? It's all here. You don't know because you ain't in here, which is another issue. You've been watching for years and yet you've yet to come up in here. I'd rather for you to just leave because there's no point of us doing this if you're not going to be a part of this. Don't give me the black feel. Oh, yeah, I like what y'all doing. Hell no. Come here and show me that you like what we're doing. You know what I mean? You don't like what we're doing because you would be about it. You like that crack, nigga. That's what you like. You don't like what we're doing. You like what Tyrone is doing. That's what you like. You like getting heroin from Blue. That's what you like. Yeah, I said it. You know I'm talking to. So, again, we see that we got the system in place. This is all about the order. This is about the order which stems from the law. If people don't abide by the law, we won't have the order, which gives us chaos and anarchy, which gives us pre-Adam, which is why the Most High had to flood and kill those people. The babies, the crippled, the old, the deaf, the dumb, the blind, the young, the able, and their like. He killed them. He wasn't playing games. This is warfare. And he started over. Like Bill Cosby said, I brought you into this world, and I'll take you out. You understand? So we go into Jeremiah 23, verse 1, Baba Kashab. That's why we have a problem with you preachers, man. A simple man like me, I was a sinner in the world. I was nothing. And you know what I mean? I was nothing. But I can come in here and give you more than what you could ever get from Reverend Pigfoot. Reverend Pigfoot is a motivational speaker. Reverend Pigfoot says enough to fill his belly, says enough to make you content with your minuscule life. That's Reverend Pigfoot. Pastor Jones, T.D. Jakes, T.D., whoever. Let's get it.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, and verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors.
Wait a minute, what is that, Black Rob? Say it again.
Woe be
Say it again.
Woe.
What does woe mean? Yanazar, before he even, I already know. What does woe mean?
Destruction or death.
Let's get that a little louder in the UPK voice.
Destruction or death.
Death! To who?
Woe be unto the pastors.
Be unto the pastors.
That destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
What did the pastors do?
Destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
What do the pastors do?
Destroy and scatter the sheep of
They
my pasture.
destroy you.
That's right.
They destroyed you in Inglewood, California. These pastors destroy you in Detroit, Michigan, and Lansing. These pastors destroy you in the UK. They destroy you in Raleigh, and Durham, and Baltimore, and Philadelphia, and Boston, and Detroit. Which I said again, I'm going to say again for a reason. Listen to me now. These pastors either they don't know the Bible, which was my conclusion with my uncle. It was either that they don't know this Bible, they got their degree offline, took a few courses on being a minister. What do they call it? What is that called? That theology. Yeah, they took a few courses, right? $175. And now they're able to teach and they can get paid. Biggest pimp game. You understand? When the pimps, everybody got coked up and the drug game was strangled, they went into a more safer route. They got old and they wanted to become, they became a so-called preacher, a pastor, right? Like what was the brother was talking about? Soul food. You know, Claw, have mercy. No, that was Friday. Them preachers all the same. Something about them, man. Like and the crazy thing is, everybody, you have no choice when you raise up in America but to think that, hey, this is the man of the Lord, or the cloth. You know what I mean? Because that's what your parents say. That's what your grandparents say. That's what everybody say. Everybody, you need to come here. You need to go to church. You need to praise Jesus. So you think that it's real. But then when you get old enough and you can read for yourself and you see that nothing that this Bible say to do, they don't do it. And then when you confront them, they run when no man pursue it. They run. They've never stepped up. No man has had the courage to step up before Commander General Yohana and his generals and his officers and refute these words. The way we operate in here. That's the problem. Woe again read that again.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Most High.
Saith the Most High, woe be it unto thee, these pastors that destroy and scatter the children of Israel. What more do you want? He already knew, like I told you in the beginning, these words for our learning, the words that were written in the Old Testament. It's the truth. And if you, and the thing is, you out there, like I said, them sideline people, I know you know it's the truth. It's been 2 years. You watch. I've seen some of you consistently. But you're afraid. You lukewarm. Something about it is like, oh, but I can't do what they do. You know what I mean? I don't want to dress like that. I don't want to cut my deadlocks. I don't want to leave my white woman. Well, you don't have to leave her. You're not commanded to leave your wife. You know what I mean? Why don't you come in here, step foot up in the ISUPK 2534 South Roxborough Street, Durham, North Carolina. Step up and see for yourself. You want to criticize from being within. And then say, you know what? I gave it a shot. But they're devil worshipers and they sacrifice goat. And, you know, if you're going to say something about it, keep it accurate and be honest about it. Be confident in what you're saying from firsthand account. You know what I mean? That's what we ask you to do. But other than that, I have no respect for you because you're a coward. Now, I'm not speaking to everybody. Some of you are sincerely trying to learn, and that's what we want. We want you to sincerely try to learn, you know, like we did. So we don't have to keep holding the weight of the sins of our people. Because we don't get this thing together. 144,000 don't come together until we actually get to that point. And it doesn't happen by us pacifying you. You understand? My man Mahayar said the Christian pastor effing spoiled you. And that's what he's doing. He's spoiling you. He's destroying you. And we won't get to the kingdom or get to the point where we can inherit that kingdom with this dead weight. You're the problem. I have a problem with you. We all have a problem with you. Now, the people sincerely trying to learn this the first time you hear this truth, no problem. You got to pass. Some people take 2 years. Some people take 4 years. But 10 years, 8 years? Come on, man. Like, it didn't take you that long to decide to smoke that blunt, right? It didn't take you that long to decide whether you was going to molest that child or your niece, nasty ass. What's wrong with you? You know, let's get cleaned up. In here, you'll get true, sincere love, man. I've never had love, not even from my family, the way I've had in here. There's brothers in here that I did not know in this world that have done things no one else would ever do. People have put their lives on the line for me. Have literally given me shirts off their back, straight up, and was happy, grateful to do it. That's why I love this place. I love the ISUPK. You know, this system is dope. I had a basketball tournament in Texas. I go out there, I had to check in, I let them know I was coming, and that's what we do. We go to anybody's zone, we check in. Guess what? You get the utmost hospitality. Any brother come to Durham, my bed is theirs. My house is theirs. That's my duty. I would love to. It's an honor. Captain Akkad stayed in my crib. It was an honor. It was an honor to serve the man above me. You know what I mean? And that's what you cannot get. How can you talk about us when you don't even have what we have out there in the world? You're selfish as hell, which is a demon, you know. And that is the antagonist to the brotherhood that's in this truth, which is the lifeblood of what we have here. How dare you, nasty, decrepit, vile, dishonorable human being, disgusting, funky, filthy, just a disgusting person to me. You know, I don't see the flesh, I see through you. And you are disgusting to me because you selfish as hell, because you see what we're doing. You see the ridicule we receive. And you, instead of you coming in here to join us and support what we're doing, when you know what we're doing is the truth, it's of the Lord, you'd rather play the sideline like a effing coward as you are. And you know what? Salakia, we don't need you. Now, to my people out there that's really trying to learn, that's really trying to be about Christ that you claim, take the goddamn cross off your neck. Put up this shield right here. Yeah, it's the truth. And again, if you have so much knowledge, put it on the table. Because you know why you don't? Because you secretly watching cross the line. You secretly seeing how all them cats that was saying what you would have said is getting body bagged, zipped up like Ziploc. You know what I mean? You see it. And that's how you so-called learning. You know, it serves a purpose. But what is within you that's keeping you from crossing the line sincerely, wholeheartedly, getting in all black, changing your life, bringing your children up in here, bringing your family in here? In here is love, brother. Mahayar is my brother. I didn't know this cat before, but I love this man. Kowal is my brother. I love that man. Makatazau is my brother, and I love that. You not each other in the world, but you come in here, you see a love like no other. And you sisters and brothers, you are not going to destroy my family with your gossip, with your inability to go to counsel. If you need help, get help. We will help you. We love you while you're here. But if you're trying to tear this thing down, you will be exposed and you will be yanked up out of here, banished from out of here. Check yourself and better know where your heart is when you come into the Isupk. If you in here for real, be about it. If you a student, get your goddamn notebook, take notes, come back with questions, get all your questions answered. If you was trying to get a master's degree or a PhD or a bachelor's, you'll be taking it serious because you know about that student loan. You got to pay that back. Same thing up in here. Pay it forward. When someone's talking, you write down what they're saying if you don't know. If you're already there, then understand, you follow along. You understand? But sometimes we got to break it back down to alphabet soup. Right. You know what I mean? Sometimes we got to get that leche, that milk. You know what I mean? Sometimes we got to sometimes we get too meaty, you know, carnivorous with the knowledge that there's cats that's in here that don't even know what the language is of the ancient Israelites. You know what I mean? It's right in the name, Hebrew. But Salakia, some people don't know that. And so you moving forward to chapter 8 and everybody fell chapter 2. I don't do that. We start from the basics. I'd rather for you to get 100% of 30% of the information than to get 30% of 100%. I ain't on no timeline. We're going to be here until the Most High return. Until Yahweh shall return, Salaki. You know, hopefully that's tomorrow. But for your sake, you might have another day. You know what I mean? So again, take this serious because we do. And if you don't, you will be marked. You understand? That's right. You have an obligation with what you know. You know enough to tune in. You tuned in for some reason. And while you've done that, you have an obligation. You cannot be the same woman you were 2 or 3 years ago. Right. We've had some sisters come in that were dragons and beasts. You know what I mean? And guess what? They are wonderful Tawab sisters today. And that's what I love about this school. That's why I said whoever you were in the world, come on in here. Because we've seen it. We got a remedy for it. I didn't even know some sisters could be so beautiful because how they were acting before. Now they're like, wow. I'm just like, you are freaking amazing. Right. The fact that you love us enough to change. When you wanted to quit, you did not quit. Right. You could have left. You did not leave. You endured. You had long nights, long weeks. Time like, yo, I'm moving back to Maryland. I'm moving back to Texas. I got to get up out of here. Then you somehow, something that you learned or that you heard in the classes gave you hope. And that's all I'm trying to tell you. Through these scriptures, the system that we have in place, it gives us hope, not only in our relationships, not only in the brotherhood, but as a nation. There is still hope that we will overcome this beast that has taken crafty counsel against us. Salakia, if I could, get me Psalms chapter 83, verse 3. Let's understand 83 verse 3. Yeah. Let's understand why we need all this firepower. Why we need to make sure our household, man, let me tell you, there ain't nothing worse than seeing a brother come into the class or you see a brother and he's so tough and strong. But then the one day you see him, he had an argument with his rib and he said, hey, you all right, Doc? What's wrong with you? He was like, I can beat Esau. I could beat these bills, but my rib. Y'all got to stop hurting, antagonizing our brothers, man. It's embarrassing to the sisters. Cause let me tell you something, man. Nobody want no weak brother, no demoralized brother. Now here's the reason, because the brother could choke the mess out you. But instead, he's trying to refrain from breaking the law. He loves you. Regardless of what you think, man, he don't love me. He does love you. The brothers love the sisters up in here. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like the children, the relationship with children. Like, some people think I'm just this strict disciplinary, which I am at some case, but there's time my children see the lighter side of me. I laugh. I like to joke, have a good time. But they have to earn that. That's a time. Sometimes there's not a place for that when that demon is too prevalent. Asmodeus, that was a demon of schizophrenia. And when you have that demon, it takes about a good year and a half or so, that I've seen, where you really get it under control. You let him know. Because your wife, your rib, she be fighting them hands, be like a man's hands, because it's a man's demon. It's a masculine demon. Asmodeus is a man. So when he is in her and he's invoked, she has the strength of a demon, the mouth of a man, the mouth of a man, and she's coming at you with everything. So that brother sometimes got to come back, and you're thinking, he hates me. The brother says, shut the fuck up. And you think he's talking to you. He's talking to your demon. He's a man. He's trying to take possession of his woman, of his property, and he has to exorcise him out. So he's talking to a masculine entity within the woman. And he would not do it if he did not love you. Right. He could simply just ignore you and be gone. Like, I'm going for a loaf of bread, like the men used to do back in the 70s. I'm going out for a loaf of bread, and you don't see him. He don't come back. I mean, if a brother is taking the time to try to teach you, let me just understand that he's doing that for a reason, because he's hoping for a better day. Right. There's going to be a time when he's going to need you. He's going to need to know that you think like he think. He may end up unconscious or in a coma or something crazy. He need to know that hey, Officer Arya would do this. Right. Do it this way. Or you got to raise the children. So he may pass away, but he has 3 sons. No, I know your father will want you to be in this, or he wants you to train here. That's why there's the growing pains. Don't mistake the growing pains of marriage as hatred. It's not. Now, again, there are some wicked brothers, and you got to be able to allow the generals or the counselor to call that out. And the only way to do that is to expose it, present it. And if you have a husband that tries to shield you from seeking counsel, nah. You find a way. You know how to find a way. Women always know how to find a way. So definitely do that, and we're asking you to do that because we need our ranks to be on the up and up. I need to know this brother over here is doing the right thing. You know what I mean? You may know a little more than what I could ever know because you're at home with him. You know what I mean? And I'd rather for you to call it out and have that brother work and get the counsel that he needs to better himself, so I can be sincere with him. Say, that's my brother. He had that issue. That's none of my business. But guess what? Right now, we good. I had my issue. My rib called me out. Well, General Muhammad, he telling me, hey, you can't do that no more, blah, blah, blah. Most High in Christ. That's love. It didn't feel good. You know what I mean? Doing them Yakara push-ups don't feel good, but you like the result. You understand? Busting knuckles on them trees don't feel good, but you like the result. You know what I mean? Studying for that exam don't feel good, 2 in the morning, but when you get the A or the B plus, you like the result. So in all things, out of love or in a any successful thing that we may attain, there's a level of pain. You understand? It's necessary pain. Almost as how General Muhammad said, there's a necessary evil, because the Lord is the creator of that evil. He creates that evil as an opposition to us making wrong decisions. You know, he makes AIDS for people who want to continue to be homosexual, or there's prison for people who want to commit crimes. The Lord, you know, you chose to do it. You chose to break the law and do those things. But again, there's the hope that this sister will no longer have these issues, that she doesn't blow up the phone and cursing and berating you. That doesn't get you nowhere. And it doesn't get you anywhere in the ISUPK. If I have an issue with any general or officer, Salakia, sir, with all due respect, sir, you know, driving all the way to Atlanta every week is kind of harsh for me, because Salakia, sir, and if he's a just man, he may say, I was telling you to do it, just to see if you was gonna tell me that you couldn't do it. But you was doing it for three weeks, so we're like, yeah, you're a pushover. We wanted to see. You know, when you go to jail, the first thing they want to do was, you know, certain groups I'm familiar with, they test you. They want to put pressure on you to see who you are. You know, they put that pressure on, kind of like Hebrew Academy, put that pressure on you to see what's in you. You know, everybody has a facade, you know. Anybody can have muscles and look big, look like they can do something. Till that pressure come, you know, till that blood come, that pain, you know what I mean, them tears. We want to see what's in you. And guess what? It don't matter. You could be a wimp. You could be a sucker. You could be a softie. In the ISUPK, we take them all and we going to build you up. You know what I mean? You got that for me?
Psalms chapter 83 and verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel.
Who?
They have taken crafty counsel.
Who is the they that's taking crafty counsel?
All the other nations.
All the
Esau.
other nations. All the other nations. Did you know that this Bible is about bloodline? Did you know that this Bible, it talks about how all the other nations in relationship to the nation of Israel interact? Everything is from the point of view of the nation of Israel. I know you thought that God loves everybody, that we're just human beings, kumbaya, just one great people. But if you study and read, you will see it's clear as day that there are distinguishments between the nations. And this particular scripture is talking about the heathens, which are non-Israelite, the people that are nations that are non-Israelite or Israel. And so because of that, the Lord is a man of war. He's now showing that there is a war council. You understand? There's a war council that's designed to destroy the children of Israel. Read on.
The book of Psalms chapter 83 and verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Stop right there. Crafty counsel. Now, I've been talking about counsel in the ISUPK to help alleviate and remedy the ailments of PTSD in this warfare, this war zone that we're in, right? Right? Because you're going to have some issues. You know, being in here can weigh heavy on your life. You know, if your life isn't totally designated to the ISUPK, to the truth, and you're still juggling other things, it can pull. It can pull in your relationship sometimes, you know. But we have counsel. But here the scripture is talking about crafty counsel. Now, when someone is crafty, what is the root word of crafty?
The root word is craft. which means a skill.
Say that one more time.
Craft is to have a skill.
A skill. Now, tell me another type of craft, and I'm only going to ask the sister, because she is a purveyor of this special show that I never watched. But then she loves this guy. What other craft is there?
Salakia, witchcraft
Witchcraft?
concert.
I'm asking you, witchcraft?
Yes.
Witchcraft.
Like,
You saying with a T, I'm saying WHICH. Which one?
Oh.
Witchcraft? Witchcraft.
like spells.
You're not wrong. Oh, like spells. Oh, shoot. You getting back into, okay. She talking Harry Potter. You got Harry Potter fans. So craft, right? A skill, right? There's a thing called witchcraft, right? Which is basically when you take a lower knowledge or understanding of how things interconnect and how you can manipulate. When you understand roots, it's, people put a spookism behind it, but really it's understanding various elements and how they interact with one another, how you take this and it affects something over here, right? And so crafty counsel is knowing that in the 60s, we were uprising, we were growing and blossoming as a people. And I'm just speaking about Judah for right now, okay? The Negroes in America. We had Rosewood, which was Gainesville, Florida, which was a thriving so-called black community that had their own businesses as well as housing lodges, like what you would call a hotel, motel today. Their own community leaders. And you've heard the rundown. We also had, go ahead, Worry. Yeah, you good. He got you. Just keep your eyes open. All right. We also had Black Wall Street, Oklahoma City. We also had Haiti, the Haiti era in Durham, where they had hotels, bed and breakfast type houses where people would rent out the rooms in their houses. We had all kinds of clubs, nightclubs, gambling spots. We had cab services, hospitals. We were self-sufficient, right? We were set apart at one point, but it was almost indirect because Esau didn't want us using their facilities. Esau didn't want us living in their neighborhoods. So they, by their lower, I guess, more true self, not really wanting to deal with the children of Israel, they caused another problem. They saw something. They saw that when we are left alone, we thrive, we boom, right? We're starting to grow. And in doing so, the economists who are a part of this crafty council and the politicians are seeing that, Salaki, your eyes, he got you right there. Yeah, you too up. What these economists are seeing that there's a whole nother economy in the black community. That if somebody wanted to get it, which Esau don't care about Esau either. They cutthroat businessmen. So, they would have certain Edomites, like in the movie Rosewood, there was a white man who was getting rich by setting up shop in the black community. And so other white men try to stick to their ground and say, no, we don't deal with Negroes or whatever. But this white man's like, you missing the big picture here, the dollar, right? And so he thrived, and so the economists in this crafty council, as you say, and it's not just economists, it's also politicians, religious leaders, it's people who are in positions to benefit and who can use witchcraft and understand the psychology of the subject in which they're trying to rule over. They understand what we're able to do. If you've noticed, white people are starting to jump now, dunk. When I was younger, they couldn't. But they took crafty counsel. They didn't like white men, Kenji. They were upset. Back when I was younger, white people couldn't beat us in nothing. You know, it was a rule of thumb when I was growing up. You never let Edomite beat you in anything. It just did something to us. You know what I mean? But Esau saw that in the 80s. In the 80s, we were thriving in the entertainment. You know, you had Eddie Murphy, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. You had, what's the name, James Johnson. You had Carl Lewis. We was dominating everything, right? And so then they go and they take crafty counsel and they put things in the hood, in the food. You know, they take seeds out of the watermelon. They take seeds out of the grape. Then they take seeds out of you, and now you need Viagra. You know what I'm saying? They put up abortion clinics. You know, they're trying to minimize the pride and glory of Israel. What makes us men, they imprison and incarcerate. What makes us feminine, they lift up and raise up and exalt. The more feminine you are, the more chance as a man, the more chance you will get that job. You go into any bank now, it's some feminine brother, right? And if you have a job and you exert any masculinity, they look at it as a threat or insubordination or they're uncomfortable. I'm just uncomfortable. Like, for what? Go ahead, boy.
And that's so heavy you bring that out, sir, because it's like you don't even have to say nothing. All you got to do is have a beard or some kind of hair. They call you abrasive Negro. I've heard that term a lot of times. He's an abrasive Negro. Nigga ain't said 2 words. All he had was a beard and some kind of hair. And they find that intimidating. You know what I'm saying? This is ridiculous. Even in Esau's military, you understand, they have a lot of, grooming standards, how they do. And God forbid, a brother gets a little afro, mini afro, and then he get a shaving profile. Oh, no. We got to have a conversation about that. It's just the look of being, intimidating and austere. They hate that.
Most High in Christ. That's definitely the truth. Can you read on the rest of that Psalm 83, chapter 3?
This book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation.
Again, they say, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. Now, what does that mean to us right now? Are we a nation? Correct. We are not. We are a nation, but we don't know it. We don't identify with being the nation of Israel, and it's worked. They're doing their job very well. Esau, Elam, and Moab, and Ishmael, all of them are doing their job very well, keeping us distracted, got our mind all twisted, right? Thinking that we're Afro-American or perm or Jerry curl American or braid American, which is the dumbest thing I ever heard. Right. Thinking we are colored, which don't understand. Who allows us to be called these things and we think nothing of it? We don't consider who we are. We don't think of, well, we just told we would, in Africa, white man come on a boat, have a gun, hypnotize us, make us get on the boat and chain us up, and we come over here and that's how we're here. Right. And we accept that. But we can't accept the truth that's coming from this Bible. We want to be argumentative of the truths that we're reading, not that we're coming out of our head saying. Read on.
They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
That the name of Israel will be no more of remembrance. Why? What is the benefit in doing that? What is the benefit of cutting Israel off from being a nation? What is the benefit to the other nations? That's a question.
It will essentially keep us from doing what Zephaniah 2:1 says, which is gathering ourselves together. If we looking for Egyptology, we in holiness church, non-denominational, we in blackity-black groups, we'll never come together as a people. So they keep throwing all these, smarty-arty tactics at us, and black people are the only ones that take the bait on it.
And then, okay, so let's go deep. If we come together, then what? What do they fear?
They fear that we would take over economically and in every other aspect of, of power. We would have power if we came together.
We would have what?
Power.
Who is the power?
Yahweh is the power.
Who's the power?
Yahweh is the power.
Who's the power?
Yahweh is the power.
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah is the power. Who's the power?
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah is the power.
Who's the power?
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah is the power.
Who do we fear?
The Father we fear.
Who do we fear?
The Father we fear.
Who's the king?
Yahweh Shah.
Who's your king?
Yahweh Shah.
What's your name?
Israel.
What?
Israel.
What?
Israel.
What?
Israel.
Okay, I say that for a reason.
That's right.
Because the power is what they fear by cutting us off. If they cut us off from being a nation, we don't have the power. And if we don't have the power, we don't have the laws, statutes, commandments. We don't have anything that's going to save us from keeping these heathens off of our neck. How do you think Cary, North Carolina, and Apex, North Carolina is all Elam and Moab? They're buying up everything. All of Durham. You go to the cricketed, rigor mortis filled, nastiest, hood-shaped house in Durham. It's $300,000 now. It used to be worth $17,000. And guess who's buying it? Gupta. He's buying it. Gupta's buying that house. Shintao is buying that house. If you go to Cary, it's India. It's Elam. If you try to buy a house, the realtor is Elam or Shintao. And they screen you. They don't go by color. They go by nationality. Because if you're from Ethiopia, you're approved. Credit score 750. If you're from Kenya, you're approved. But if you're from the south side of Chicago, we'll get back to you. You understand? We have some affordable housing down the way in Cornwallis Projects. You're approved for that. You understand? Read on.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They consulted what?
Together.
Together. Now, any other time, there's war.
Right.
World War I, Korean War, right? Desert Storm, World War II. All these nations against each other. But this time, what did they say?
For they have consulted together.
Together. Who's public enemy number one? Israel. It's very simple when you slow it down. Read on.
Kanawakan. For they have consulted together with one consent. That, Salakia, with one consent, they are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab.
Stop right there. That's the other nations, and I'm just basically driving it all the way home. You love your enemy. You love your oppressor. You love Michael down the street, your best friend that you went to high school with. You love, and when I say love, remember I said it ain't fuzzy-wuzzy love. You know what I mean? You support their cause. You do their work. Every drug dealer, F you. Let me tell you why. You're destroying our people. And you are a BI. You're a prostitute for the white man. You're doing exactly what they wanted you to do. Let me backtrack to Rosewood and Gainesville and Hayti. We were thriving. You had the Black Panther Party. You had the Nation of Islam. And then you had the Truth, 1969. And they saw that we was rising up. They had a thing called COINTELPRO, right? The counterintelligence program, right? To prevent the rise of a black messiah. Because they know what's written in this book. That's the thing. Our people, you acting like this is some new math. But our oppressor, he's in class with us too, under a different name, named Fahim. You understand? They're studying. They're in this class. Welcome. They in this class. CIA, they in this class for sure. And they're checking the barometer of where we are. They understand this train is coming. They also are preparing to stop it. And the only way they can do it is from within, by our accord, our doing. And we're our own worst enemy. That little change we get from selling heroin, and I have a big problem with it because heroin is a monster. That's right. It is a monster. You know, you may not have this issue, but if you've ever had a loved one dealing and battling with this beast, right. And then you look at these 15-year-olds with Jordans and just discrediting and disrespecting these women, got them out here prostituting for a little dope here and there. You're disgusting to me. Then I'm looking at where's your father and who raised you to do these things, who didn't love you enough to teach you there's a better way. Yet no, we know the white man's the devil. We know where it come from. How then do you complain? You know what I'm saying? How do you complain about anything in your selfish little petty life? When all you're doing is just helping perpetuate the problem of our captivity. You don't want to come in the truth because you're the man in the hood. You already know you're going to prison. You already prepared for that. Your boys are in there waiting on you. You got a system in there. I understand that. And you feel like that's all you have. But you're killing us. And somewhere we failed. Probably centuries ago, way back. But just more recently, we failed as parents. Starting with the people we choose to mate with. We don't even stay together. Boys raising up with no fathers. Girls raising up with no fathers. And without fathers, they don't know how to treat their husband. Right. They can't respect their father. They can't respect their husband. They didn't see it. You can tell them anything, but they have to see the example. That's right. Which is why in Isupk, you hear what we saying, but guess what? You also see what we do. You see Captain Isupk. Right. You see Officer Abraham, Officer Yahawada. You see the example that they set, not just what they say. Don't play games. You need to go look in the mirror. Ask yourself, why am I not in the Isupk? What the hell else are you doing? I don't give a damn if you're a principal of a high school and you donate food. I don't give a damn if you're a preacher and you help the homeless. I don't care about that. If you're not in here, all you're telling me is that you don't prefer us, that you don't want to be with us. You don't want to be up in here in the trenches with us doing this work, right. Coming by, driving by, beeping the horn, black fist. F your black fist. Right. Get your black fist and open it up and make a hand and lift these boxes. Help us feed the community. Right. Under Yahweh Shah Mashiach. You understand? Understanding that, like I was saying earlier, Satan can tell you the right thing too, just to reel you in. That man down the street can tell your daughter something that's right and she start listening to him because he hasn't been wrong so far. But guess what? He's not her head. That's what you have to understand. Who are you talking to me? If you're not Captain Isupk, who are you telling? What are you teaching me? If you're not General Mahayman, General Korbalamov, or any of the generals in the school, General Yohana, Commander General Yohana Slakia, right. Who are you? I'm not listening to you. You could be giving me good advice. But if you're not above me, I take it but so much. So far, because you're not a man of the Lord. Right. You understand? I have a real problem with this thing going on, these halfway crooks. You selling poison to our people, and our people are doing barbaric things to get money to give to you, to give back to the Edomites and to the Ishmaelites. You get your money, you buy your clothes, and you feel good about yourself. You get a girl that you like, you sleep with her, you're impregnated, you have another child, you're not there for it because you get locked up for selling the drugs. That child grows up, does the same thing, and is a homo or a tranny or whatever, and then everyone's like, where did this start? No one wants to take responsibility or be accountable, which comes back to the original word I said, the head. You see, if I F up, guess who's going to say it's their fault? Captain Isupk. If my son mess up and he do something in school that's wrong, who failed him? I did. I'm the head. Which is why I deserve the big piece of chicken when I sit at the goddamn table. With that, we're going to pass the class to Officer Yanazar. Let's give it up.
Once again, we are the Isupk. This good? Yeah. Once again, we are the Isupk out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sisters will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi chapter 3 verses 8 through 10. Means 10th in Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation. Tomorrow is the beginning of the Feast of Purim. 14th day and 15th day of the 12th month. Thursday, January 25th, and Friday, January 26th this year. You can find this in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verses 20 through 31.
Hey, Salaki, let me say something. Everybody out there, for this feast and these feast days, I'm going to tell you again, it does not have to be a Judah throwdown. The food can also be representative of the other 12 tribes. Get creative with the food. It does not always have to be black-eyed peas and collard greens and fried chicken. Some of us eat that every day. We have other other tribes in the nation. Y'all need to step it up. Get in contact with the man who's in charge of your high holy days and see if we can be a little innovative. And so we can also attract those other nations, because some of them get intimidated. They just see Judah. They thinking it's just a Judah thing. This ain't just a Judah party. You know what I mean? This is all 12 tribes. We got Issachar. We got Asher, Naphtali. We got Gad. We got Reuben. You know what I mean? We want it all. You know what I mean? Ephraim, Simeon, so forth and so on. The whole gamut. I mean, there's nothing wrong with little tacos, enchiladas, and chimichangas, and some lamb or whatever the native Indian milk bread dishes are. But let's also learn and enhance our palate. You understand? Let's get back to the diet that we had in Israel. Let's look up some of those dishes as well. Let's just make it just a gluttonous feast where we just eat and fill our belly. Let's also learn about what some of these things are. That's what I'm saying. You need to take your place in this school. There's so much that's needed, so much. The foundation has been laid out. But we are innovative people, you understand? And we cannot just sit back and say, you know what, we could use better toiletries, or we can step up and do it. Don't wait. If you get checked. That's another thing, man. Stop being afraid of getting checked. You know, check is just correction in a harsh way. and take it, because we're going to take much more when we try to take this kingdom. You understand? The water, Salakia.
Among the 12 tribes are many flavors. Let's put it that way. Okay. Remind Akim and Aquatium to check on social media such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. And of course, we have Black Watch on Monday. We have Cross the Line Radio. We have ISUPK Radio, and we have what is it?
Actually, the prophets.
The Matrix.
Yeah, Unplugged from the Matrix here in Durham on Friday, right after from 12 to 2? I believe so. From 12 to 2 p.m. And what's the other one, my brother?
Ask ye the prophets.
Ask Ye the Prophets.
Boot up or shut up.
Buddha,
Boot up or shut up.
boot up or shut up. I like that.
Hey, Sluggy. If I could, one more. Also, he was talking about the events. There's no more consistent event than the class. All sisters are free to bring food. Why? Because usually people eat around 6-ish, 7-ish for dinner. And in order to get out to these classes, sometimes people have to sacrifice some homely duties and responsibilities. Or when class is over, they're like, I wish Iraq would shut up so I can get home and feed my children. But if we had food here, then we would not have to rush. And again, putting your brick in, you could do it so many ways. The sisters can come together or whoever, but bring food. Like the cook, bring food, because we love to eat. I do. I definitely do. The water, Salaki.
Most High Christ. What out of what? If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, he is to start wearing all black, including black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, Amajim.